She had just moved to a new town, full of hope, excitement, and dreams. A new school meant new chances, maybe even new friends. But from the moment she walked into the hallway, all eyes were on her. Not because of something she said or did, but simply because she was different. She was the new black girl in a mostly white school, and for some people, that was all they needed to treat her like she didn't belong. Whispers followed her wherever she went. Snide comments under breath, cruel jokes in the group chats, and fake smiles that quickly turned into laughter the moment her back was turned. Her name? Maya. Quiet, smart, and full of potential. She didn't want trouble, just a chance to fit in. But no matter how hard she tried to keep her head down, the bullying only got worse. They laughed at her clothes, her hair, even the way she talked. And every day, Maya had to decide whether to shrink into herself or stand up. At first, she stayed silent, but something inside her started to change. Because Maya wasn't just here to survive, she was here to fight back. What happened next? Let's just say, they messed with the wrong girl. Maya hadn't always been the quiet girl. Back in her old school, she had friends who got her, teachers who supported her, and a place where she felt seen. But everything changed when her mom got a new job in this small town. They packed up their life overnight, thinking it was a fresh start. What they didn't know was that Maya was stepping straight into a storm. The school hallways were like a stage, and every day felt like a performance she hadn't signed up for. A group of girls, popular, loud, and always watching, seemed to have made her their personal target. They mocked her hair, threw side comments about her attitude, and spread rumors that twisted her words into something ugly. Even in class, the stares never stopped. It wasn't just what they said, it was how they made her feel invisible and exposed at the same time. Some teachers noticed, but stayed quiet. Others looked right through it. Maya started writing in her journal, the only place where her voice still felt like her own. But the more she wrote, the more her anger turned into fuel. She started to see through their games, and inside her, something fierce was waking up. They thought she was alone. But Maya was about to prove just how strong she really was. Maya started noticing patterns. The bullying wasn't random. It was calculated. The same group of girls always found a way to humiliate her when no one important was watching. One of them, Lauren, was the ringleader. She came from a well-known family in town, always flashing her perfect smile in front of teachers, but behind closed doors, she was cold, sharp, and knew how to twist people against each other. Maya realized fast that this wasn't just about fitting in, it was about being shut out on purpose. At lunch, Maya sat alone. In gym class, her name always got skipped. And during group projects, she was the one left to do the work while the others whispered behind her back. But Maya wasn't the only one hurting. She started noticing small things, like how Priya, the only other girl of color in her grade, kept her head low and never spoke unless spoken to. Or how a quiet boy named Jordan, always in the back row, flinched when Lauren passed by. The more Maya watched, the more she realized this wasn't just her fight. This school had a problem, a deep one, and no one seemed willing to say it out loud. Not yet, but Maya was beginning to find her voice. And once she did, silence wouldn't be an option anymore. Maya started keeping track of the comments, the looks, even the times she was accidentally bumped in the hallway. She filled her journal with everything, not just for herself, but because deep down, she knew she was building something. Proof, a voice, a way to fight back. What started as quiet frustration was turning into a plan. She wasn't sure what it would look like yet, but she knew one thing: she couldn't stay silent anymore. One day after school, she stayed late in the library, flipping through books on student rights and bullying policies. That's when she saw Priya sitting by herself, pretending to read but clearly distracted. Maya sat across from her without saying a word. Slowly, over days, a friendship started to grow. They shared stories, fears, even laughed sometimes. But most importantly, they realized they weren't alone. Then something changed. Lauren and her friends upped their game. Maya's locker was trashed. Her journal went missing. She found her name scribbled on a bathroom stall with cruel words next to it. But instead of breaking down, Maya stared at it, her heart racing, not with fear, but with fire. Enough was enough. She reached out to Jordan, then to others who'd been pushed aside. Something was building. A moment, a choice. And Maya was ready to take it. Just when Maya thought she had a grip on everything, the real twist came. An anonymous message popped up in her inbox. No name, no face, just a screenshot of her journal. Pages and pages she thought were private, suddenly out there, and worse, being passed around. The words she had written to stay sane were now being used against her. The very thing that gave her strength had been turned into a weapon. Her heart sank. Maya barely slept that night, staring at her phone, waiting for the worst. The next morning, whispers followed her again, but this time they felt sharper, more personal. Someone had gone too far, and she knew exactly who had the power to do it, Lauren. But when Maya confronted her in the hallway, Lauren just smiled and said, "Careful, people might think you're making this all up." That's when everything snapped into focus. This wasn't just about bullying anymore. This was a power game. Someone was working behind the scenes, pulling strings, making sure Maya's voice stayed buried. And maybe it wasn't just Lauren. Someone else was involved, someone no one suspected. The school had a secret, and Maya had just scratched the surface. Now, it wasn't just about fighting back. It was about exposing the truth, and Maya was done playing by their rules. Maya didn't back down. Instead, she turned the leak into a spark. With Priya and Jordan by her side, they started a movement, small at first, just a few voices speaking up during class, students sharing their own experiences in whispers, but it grew. Soon, others began to come forward, kids who'd been ignored, dismissed, or quietly pushed aside. Maya organized a meeting with a school counselor and brought printed pages from her journal, proof of patterns and silence. She also showed the anonymous screenshot, and this time asked the real question. Asterisk, who had access to the school computers, asterisk. That's when the twist came. The school tech assistant, a student named Eric who no one ever paid attention to, came forward. He had helped Lauren hack into Maya's files, not out of hate, but because she promised to make him popular. He didn't think Maya would actually fight back, but seeing her do it made him realize he'd been used too. With his confession, everything unraveled fast. Lauren was confronted, the school launched an investigation, and rules began to change. Maya stood in front of her class during assembly, not as the girl who was bullied, but as the one who stood up. But just as she was starting to feel peace, a final note appeared in her locker. Asterisk, this isn't over. Watch your back. Asterisk. The fight might have ended, but the story wasn't over yet. Maya stared at the note in her locker, fingers trembling, but this time not from fear. She took a breath, folded it up, and tucked it in her pocket. She had already faced worse, and she wasn't about to be shaken now. The school had started real conversations. Teachers were finally listening. Policies were updated, and students had a space to speak freely. What began as her personal battle had become something much bigger, a step toward change. Priya started a student support group, and Jordan joined the art club he used to be too scared to try. Even Eric, the one who helped leak her journal, apologized publicly and offered to help build a student website focused on anti-bullying resources. Maya didn't forgive everyone right away, but she moved forward, with boundaries, strength, and her voice stronger than ever. She wasn't just the new black girl anymore. She was Maya, a fighter, a leader, and someone who reminded everyone that standing up, even when you're scared, can change everything. And as for the note, she never found out who wrote it, but she didn't need to. Because now Maya wasn't standing alone, and whoever was still trying to keep her quiet had already lost.